I don't know if I can do this.
Just a few more pages, you've got this.
I'm so tired.
So hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Myself Aryush. I am a 4th year Mbbs student at GMC Jammu, and currently I am in the middle of my exams. I have given 3 exams, still have to give 6 theory exams, 6 practical exams, but we are done with the major giants, that is the 2 exams of general medicine and 1 exam of the general surgery. And currently we are having a 4-day break. So that is why I am making this video, in which we will be looking upon the 3 exams that I have given and what lies ahead. We will also be talking about that. So let's begin. So the first exam, it was more of a nightmare, I would say. At least for me, it was a difficult exam. So let me explain what happened. So I just walked into the examination hall. I sat upon my seat, and when I picked up the paper, I looked at the long answers and they were easy. There was rheumatoid arthritis and there was an clinical question which was of thyroid crisis. So I found them easy, and then when I looked at the MCQs, they were all clinical questions. I just checked out of 20 MCQs, 18 were purely clinical scenarios. They were like 4 and 5 lines each. You had to read them. Even reading them was taking around 30 seconds to 45 seconds easily. And we were instructed that we will be getting only 20 minutes for the MCQ exams, 30 minutes including the fill in the blanks. That is 1 minute per MCQ and per blank. So that really panicked most of the students. I still somehow maintained my calm and just started reading, and I thought that it was of no use reading all those questions, because I thought that maybe I won't even be able to give the correct answer after reading this, so it's just of no use. But still, I went through all the MCQs, and apparently I was able to mark 4 or 5 questions correctly, which why I was completely sure of that. Yes, I know these are going to be correct. And in the remaining 15, I just had to eliminate the options. I just had to use my guesswork. I was confusing 1 or 2 options in some of them. So yeah, it was a really difficult exam, at least for me. But I think the long answer, they somehow saved the day, because 40 marks, 2 questions of 20 marks each, they were really on point. They were from the topics that were expected. So that just saved the day, at least for me. And when I talk about the rest of the students, I think everyone just felt bad about how difficult this exam was. And when I talked about how many MCQs this various students were getting right, so I think 15, 16, or some very brilliant student, you know whom I am talking about, they got around 20, 18, 20 questions right. So that was about the first exam, which was of the general medicine, a pretty difficult exam, at least for me. And yeah, this was about the first exam. Now coming on to the second exam, the medicine 2 exam, which had your CNS, respiratory system, the psychiatry and the anesthesia. Now the MCQs in this question paper were also difficult. They weren't easy, but still they were not clinical. And I'm not against clinical questions, but when you are giving a subjective paper and you just only get 20 to 30 minutes for 20 to 30 MCQs, that is 1 minute per MCQ, you need to have short MCQs which are just one-liners, because you just can't spend 1 minute reading the question and then marking. It just makes it very difficult. So the MCQs were moderate to difficult, still better than what we got in the first exam. And talking about the long answers, we got migraine as one question, and the other question was of snake bite, which is very general question. You can just write a lot of things about it, and you don't need to study in depth to answer that question. So the paper was kind of okay for me. It was moderate, and compared to the first exam, it definitely was easy, but still I won't say that it was very easy question paper. It was moderate to difficult. And the second paper, it somehow went smoothly, but still it wasn't like super easy, or I will say it wasn't super easy, but yeah, it somehow went good, and we were now done with two exams. That was medicine was done actually. And medicine overall, if I combine both of the exams, the medicine exams were okay. The first exam was very difficult, second wasn't very easy. So on a whole, medicine was moderately difficult, too difficult, I will say. Now moving on to the final exam that I gave yesterday, the general surgery 1 exam, and I will say that the luck was in our favor in all of the students. Actually, we got only one holiday to prepare for it, and general surgery, there were like a lot of topics were there to cover from general surgery. And we also had to cover thyroid, we also had to cover endocrine, we also had to cover the varicose veins wala system, the arterial system, venous system, and some of the skin malignancies and other things as well. So it was a lot of syllabus to cover in 24 hours, and honestly, I hadn't completed my syllabus completely. I still had 6 or 7 topics remaining, and around 1 hour before entering the examination hall, I was in a dilemma that whether I should complete what I haven't studied, or whether I should go for the topics which I had already studied. And guess what? I decided to study. I decided to revise what I had already studied: the shock, the burn, the surgical site infection, the your wound infection, and all. And somehow we all entered the examination hall, and guess what? The first two questions were there was a 20 marks question on shock, there was a 20 marks question on burn. So there were like a lot of things that could have ended up in the question paper, but luckily we got the most important topics. We got the burn, we got the shock in 20 marks. The short answer questions, there were one or two things that I hadn't studied, but apart from it, most of the short answers and the 7.5 marks questions, they were also based on the what you consider important for the exams. And talking about the MCQs were easy to moderate in this one, but we got only 10 MCQs of 10 marks. So the question paper, the exam apparently became a lot lengthy, and because of that, I had to cut short the last of the answers. I really ended up writing one and a half page for each of them, even half or 0.75 of the page for that matter. And but apart from that, the question paper, the exam was lengthy, but it was easy to moderate, I will say more on the easier side. So that just saved the day for us. It could have been a lot difficult. It could have been very difficult exam for all of us if they had decided to put anything weird in the 20 marks question. The game was over for it. Game was over for us. But somehow the right things ended up, at least for us, and we ended up giving the third exam, I think, smoothly. And with that, we are now left with 6 exams, one of surgery, and we also have pediatrics, obs gynae, 2 exams of obs gynae, ENT, and ophthalmology. So we have one holiday in obs gynae and one in ophthalmology, but apart from that, we will be getting 2 holidays for the rest of the subjects. And for the general surgery, we are having 4 holidays. So that brings a relief, and that is the reason why I am sitting here and talking about what I did and what I am going to do as far as it is concerned. I will be starting off with ortho, I think, because it is a subject that I haven't studied, and a significant portion of the exams come from ortho of the general surgery one. We don't have a separate paper for ortho, but it comes in the general surgery second paper, and a significant chunk come from it. So I will be preparing for ortho, then I will be moving to general surgery. In this, we will be getting GIT, urology, we will be getting breast, and all of these topics. So I have studied them in the previous, while preparing for the terms and the internal exams. So I will be keeping them a little late and will be mostly focusing on ortho. But apart from that, I will be relaxing at least today. I don't plan on studying much today because it's a really long journey. You have to be giving exams continuously for 1 month, and I personally feel if you are going to put your 110% on each and every day, you are going to be exhausted very soon. So that is why I took breaks on the exam day. After giving the exams, I didn't practically study anything at all. And even today, I will be relaxing. I will be starting properly studying from tomorrow, and let's see how this goes. We still have a very long way to go. I will be uploading another this kind of video maybe after the theory exams have ended, and do let me know in the comments if you enjoy these types of videos. I had posted one in between the send-ups as well. You can check that out as well. So do let me know in the comments if you enjoy these videos. I will be making more of these where I am just sitting and talking about what is going on in my life. So with that, this video comes to an end. Thanks for watching and do subscribe to the channel.